Am I awake yet? Welcome to a beautiful Saturday morning. Do you see how I'm do you see how I'm starting to look real Hufflepuffy real fast? This is my sweatshirt that's starting to fall to pieces, but I'm just one giant hippie, so I'll just wear clothes with holes in it. It's just awful. And it's the way it goes. All right. I could, dress up in monk attire, be the same thing. Queen. I wonder if I could get one with that said queen on it, or do I need an extra sash to make sure that I know that I'm the alpha? So you guys don't understand. Like in the spiritual world, man, the backstabbing and competition in spiritual people is hilarious. And so I'm gonna start this class off with some teachings. So I see little llamas. I see all the crap in the astral planes. I see all your guys' thoughts. So this morning, Simon, thank goodness, I talked to Archangel Kamael last night, the male one in training, right? And I finally started to see, no, I saw his archangel body. And it's rad. And it's black and red and feathers, and it's beautiful. And he just is so tempered and calm and like a solid rock. And it's like it offers that sense of serenity and strength. And so we talked and because I'm making sure that the kids can mutate into Tiferet, right? Without the Reaver shit popping up. And all the Reaver stuff is coming from old curses, you guys. It's a number of things. It's the planet. It's the Christ and Jesus being tortured to death for 3 days, right? It just blade, and then it's the imprint, the astral imprint from that kind of like saints, and it's not just Jesus, it's other saints and masters, right? Being tortured and crucified, and it's the curses left over because even if you're a saint being tortured to death, boy, are you like fuck them after that, like enduring that process. And it doesn't matter how much forgiveness is put forward, it still like exists. And so like we had to bypass, we had to like get the Christ energy to have a portal without it being like a bunch of little children that are just going to be, sacrificed to a fucking cross. So no reavers. So Simon Magus was the answer. And he might be a little more ungrounded, but he was Simon the magician. And it has a beautiful Christ energy. And even Jesus was like, yeah, I'll be a Christ and Simon can be the Christ. Because Jesus is. You see how that works out? It's real interesting. So Simon Magus, like when I started to feel that energy, it was like, that's like the Ravenclaw stuff, because he comes to me like a blue person with Harry Potter glasses. Like this is the smart route, and this is why we might be able to open that portal for all the little kids to go straight into Ravenclaw as much as possible, so that they can, ascend, but ascend with intelligence instead. Because, we said there would be no little muggled children stuck in Hode that were Ravenclaws. So they'll bypass the ick, hopefully. That's the intention. I'm working out if I'm still seeing Reavers at all, and I'm digging into the lowest realms of hell on the planet, but almost. Not quite the lowest of the low, but we've got some guides and other people helping. And if I am still feeling anything, even touching the lower realms of hell, it's like a no-go for the kids. So I'm gonna marshmallow the planet into love. So there's no more ick. Because that's my job. It's not my job. The higher worlds are easy. It's the lower worlds. So if I can close my crown chakra and dig into the lower worlds, and if I'm still seeing reavers, it's just not good because it's all repressed shit. Now, like my dirty. I'm being asked by my boyfriend, why do I focus on all of this stuff? This is demented. It's gross. Like Archangel Kama, like your friend, he's just like a comic character. Like he's like, why do you talk about this stuff? Why do you talk about people stabbing each other? It's like, why do you talk about rape and murder? And why do you talk about all of it? Why do you talk about race so much? And the reality is it's in the air. That's the answer. It's in the air. And I can hear it and I can see it. So we need to develop some kind of holistic way to deal with it. I see it doesn't matter how repressed people are or how much they shut up. It's in their thoughts. So I don't want to shut people up, but I want to teach them how to like deal with it really well. And then so Simon Magus came through and he goes, all black people are Christs. Just wait. All, and then he goes, they were supposed to come through on the Blu-ray to be blue people. It's why they were more inclined to be towards Netzach and Africa. And then white people came along and took them out of, crazy shit happened. All right. So, and then we go, Simon Magus goes, or I go, at that point, all oppressed people are also Christs. And this is the Ravenclaw shit. Because it's the benevolence. So it doesn't, at the end of the day, they're fighting for their survival. And instead of vanity stuff. And they may get lost, but who isn't when they're constantly being oppressed? So that was Simon Magus's answer, and thank you for that because it really helped. And I knew that the African origins, they were supposed to be the tribes that came in on the Blu-ray. So excellent. So we're constantly going to be reevaluating everything. Does this mean I'm fine coming in on a red ray? Because I'm Ray. And because I'm Gryffindor and I'm Hermione. So I don't think that that's bad at all either. It's just what the cruelty that's put forward is not good. Now, it's in the air. There are 7 billion people on this planet. even just a million of them from all different cultures, races, languages, being handed wands with power through the ascension is not great, because there's no real compassion or understanding yet. Just a bunch of fucking Slytherin witches getting angry. Because nobody's in Hufflepuff yet. Not yet. We can work toward it. So the biggest thing is like, again, you guys would everybody would have to be my friend to be in Hufflepuff. That's the Nexa. Instead of throwing axes at me in the spiritual world. So I lower myself. I'm really high. I go up into the really high God realms and unground very easily. It's very easy for me to talk about the heart chakra. It's not easy for me to talk about the heart chakra when I'm grounded in the realms of hell. So I lower myself to be actually on this planet, to what's actually happening, to feeling the actual thoughts of people, to be able to relate. Because otherwise I just, cut the cords and leave. That's the easy job. The hard job is to root and see what's going on and see your responses to it without any like escapism. Yeah, that's what all of you guys, that's it. I just see a bunch of you guys backing off. Escapism. Hufflepuffs don't escape. The Hufflepuffs will never escape. They're more, Hufflepuffs are going to be more inclined to be nailed to a cross than escape. So, which just reinforces the Reaver shit. So people need to learn how to not be dicks to Hufflepuffs. And if you guys say it's just the mirror, by the time you guys, that's just another escapism tactic. Because by the time you get to this place, it's just going to happen to you, and then it's just going to be an endless negative karma circle. So it's got to be the persecutor has to decide, I'm not going to be a persecutor. Instead of because if the persecutor goes, I'm not going to be a persecutor, then there is no victim. So that I'm not going to be a persecutor should be turned on in genomes, not persecutor, or persecutor on the off side, turn persecutor. See, mine's already fucking really strong off on that. So the drama side, but then the persecutor feels like a victim, and then it's just this endless cycle. But maybe if the persecutor feels like a victim, then the persecutor can balance out and go, no, that's a hero thing, not a victim thing. So it's a way to trick the system. The Mayan lineage likes to teach the drama triangle a lot. A lot. And it annoys me because all it does is reinforce the drama triangle. There was never a way out. Not really. they said that it was just battle the golem and become the emperor empress archetype, but like there was no real like practical step. The biggest thing is just when you're in pure persecuted territory, you go, I'm not going to be a persecutor. And you drop weapon. And then maybe you can send healing bubbles. And then you go, pay it forward, God will pay me back. That's Hufflepuff territory. All right. So if you guys have race issues at all, the ones you hate the most or the ones you can't stand, pray for them. Put them in healing jelly bubbles filled with intelligence. This is that Jesus Christ, pray for thy enemy thing. Everyone. Because you guys, and if you have to do it to every race and then put them in, and then the fairies versus the pixies versus the crocodile people, like everybody's fucking psychic. You guys, you have a million fucking race issues. My God, it's insanity, right? So we do the healing bubbles for everyone. And that's it. And then we put like a highest karmic good blessing on it, maybe. And then that's the way. Is not with a sword, with jelly bubbles. Hufflepuffy. So the other kind of component about Hufflepuff and it being like a potcation is like when you smoke weed, you can see things. You can see the realms of hell. You can see the reptiles still in your bones. God. If I can see it and I am a saint, then you guys can see it. Then you can feel it. And you can hear God going, that's just the reptile still in your bones. Period. Okay? And then your face. And then your brain. And then you can also start talking to God. Real easy. And God, and then like sometimes when you are on pot, like life makes sense. You're like, because I'm still an evil piece of shit and I know it. And I can feel it in my body. So some beautiful woman came to me yesterday and she was like, yeah, things aren't going to get better until we all get better. And that's the truth. So that's where like Tiferet, that's where in Tiferet it needs like healing instead of war. do not dwell here because there's a pride that you have to burn through. It's like that. It's a recursive thing. It's like, look at me, I'm healing, therefore I can be proud of myself. So the way to burn through pride, I mean, if you're watching this video and you're still proud about being wealthy or proud about what you've created in life, like look out, you've created nothing. Nothing. That's arrogance. I can own I've created nothing. So if you make any chips on the nothing about age, nothing about race, nothing about wealth, nothing. Any chips. Female, male, nothing. still like females better, but that's okay. The female sex healing to get into Hufflepuff is to rub grape jelly on your legs, organic, and then near your crotch. You don't have to put it in, but on top of your vagina and probably at your butt. And then, then that's, and if you want to do it on the breast, that's good too. See, we can even out with the women. That just might be protection later down the line. So I'm not. You don't put stuff in the vagina or like that. That's gross and destructive. So and anyway, so there, it's equal. There's a sense of wholeness to doing it. Am I gonna? Yeah, I'll do it. I'll go get some organic grape jelly and do it. Of course I'll do it. I have to be the role model. I'm even gonna make an apple pie just to set up the grid for everybody else. I thought I was gonna do it yesterday, which was the moon day, but this didn't work out that way. During this month, during Kali month, like Rosh Hashanah, Fairy New Year, like October, like until about Halloween, right? It's a Kali month and a half, I call it. I get the world's like weirdest downloads, and they're just like so far from outer space, and I never know how to deal with them, and they just sound crazy to me, and I'm just completely ungrounded and out of my body, and it's insanity. But like crazy magic stuff also happens, like weird shit. All my miracles happen at this time of year, okay? So it's like, it's just weird. And if I look weird and I sound weird, it's not just Tiferet, it's like the time of year, but it is just Tiferet because Tiferet really wanted to come through now. I did the MLM. Is there any more issues that I need to bring up? Marshmallow goo. So maybe the snakes and ladders teaching. You can like snakes in Hufflepuff. You can like snakes in Gryffindor too. But like this snake inside of you might be tempered. So, so the idea of doing a healing modality called snakes and ladders should still be okay. I know, you guys have so many weird dogmas and we're in Hode, so we're based, I'm still like gritting Malkuth on the planet. If you guys sign up for Kabbalah 100, what that does is help set the grid for the planet for the real Harry Potter transformation, so that we get the deeper protect, like when two people come together. So it, you guys deserve what you pay forward. If you want to do the grid setting for Malkuth for the planet, the problem is I have a stronger brain than most of you. So even if you guys did the work, you should do the practice work. I'll still have to do it too. And It's the crystal yoke temple through all the different hell realms, and just that for Malkuth. And you have to do it through the entire universe and all the heaven realms too. So we have like 5 layers that are good and like 7 layers that are okay. And those are kind of weak, but it's something. it's something. Wasn't there before. Oh, that's the next warning. The other thing is that I saw a curse from the mystery school to reaver the shit out of people if they went into Tiferet. Like they were the school of God protecting the heart chakra, and that they were going to reaver the fucking people that tried. So I saw that. Sorry, mystery school. I see the fucking curses. It's in the astral planes. And that's why I call them Slytherin. So there's a lot. Nobody should be forced to go through the mystery school at all to get into Tiferet. You go through laws, universal laws, and that's it. You do not need to be forced into a rape cult to ascend the tree of life. And that's gross. You need to be an asset to the planet, get through the Nexa, and then just to get into Slytherin and into Tiferet, you just need to be friends with me. You don't even need to like me. You just have to have a heart love for me. You don't have to talk to me. You just have to like not stab me in the back. All right, that's the Nexa for Hufflepuff. And then you have to still be an asset to the planet. That's it. So if the mystery school are sending blades towards people for ascending the tree of life without them, that's an issue that they need to deal with. And that's why they're in Slytherin and not in Hufflepuff. But they're trying to get in Hufflepuff. It lacks serious reverence towards people doing the work that don't want to join a sex cult. All right. When I said I was the alpha of the mystery school, I meant it. It's me or somebody better. I'm going to go me with Star. I think Star can forgive me for outing the lineage for being backstabbers, and then she wants the lineage to be in Hufflepuff or higher, and I know that. So we just have work to do. And the Mayan lineage is not as much of a cult. And that so they've been running more of the Hufflepuff frequencies, even if they're still stuck in Slytherin. Period. And that's good. So we want to get them completely into Hufflepuff territory. And higher. So I did the MLM. Oh, I have a couple cups. I know it's all just more materialism and shit, but maybe it can teach you guys the lessons and you'll get the downloads. And you see the Hufflepuff. I know it's not loose leaf tea because I'm in London and I have a million excuses because I have no money and all that other shit. But I've spent a huge amount of my life cleaning up everything before, or as much as I could. So we understand. Anyway, so the point is I know. I know when I'm not doing good. And I'm trying my best to repair the damage. All right, so it's the marshmallow teaching. And so I got a little cup too. And this is God being funny. Because Hufflepuff magic is pretty rad, but really dumb. But I also got the onyx chalice. So it's I see the beauty in all things great and small. So we have a big muggle cup, a small muggle cup, and then we have a little onyx marshmallow cup coming. That's like a little chalice. So this is Hufflepuff magic. So we so we understand. And it has evil trapped into it that we're burning through, and that it's my ticket to Stonehenge. So yeah, Stonehenge is going to be a nice little Hufflepuff activation. And so is Hyde Park. We're getting Hyde Park from Slytherin into Hufflepuff. Man. I just look like I'm high like every day in Hufflepuff. So Baba G is still coming through, like a piece of shit asshole that needs to help, but he's still nice. He was like, his higher self goes, that's my lower self wanting to out myself so that nobody gives their power away to him. And that's a chill way to do it. He says when I started hitting the realms of God and like getting the marshmallow downloads coming through, he's like, the planet's gonna get really vanilla really fast. And that's what we want. We want a bunch of vanilla, like PG, like even Harry Potter's, like if that's as dark as it gets, we're good. Like, that's PG. And then eventually we'll get into like G-rated territory. I don't know if anyone can handle that. But like that's the gist. Just because God knows everything about good and evil doesn't make God like want to create crap. Like God's like, no, I just want to stay a marshmallow. Because he knows. It's like, because that wisdom is like, oh, all this stuff is really scary and I just want to code it and make it go away. like that. All right. Here is our cube. Man, I broke apart the block. It's in pieces now, but I did set it. We had one word. We had two words being spelled out, and that we got 44 for mastery twice on the cube. So we had the two cubes left over from my box set was 44. So that's rad. And then we have a 44 here at a diagonal in the spiritual world. So in the spiritual world, we're like in mastery space. for Tiferet. Isn't that rad? That's cool. Okay, so that's spiritual mastery. That's not like physical mastery yet, but it's spiritual. But we'll get there. Mental and emotional. We got yes with the cherries. The cherries is that's the boundaries and the entrance for Gryffindor. And chastity. Cherry healings. Another chastity healing would be putting like a yoni egg, like a cherry quartz yoni egg, and then the grape jelly over it. That might be nice, but I'm not saying that that's needed. But that could help if you feel attacked for anything, right? So cleaning out that, and sometimes just the astral energy helps too. And then we have law, because we need law. There will be no such thing as anarchy on the planet, because we still have to like see each other and like work with each other, and so like we still need law. Still needs to be like, that's like universal divine law, okay? But it doesn't look like what we've been doing. So the reptile muggles on the planet, their law is anarchy to God, and that's why God's law looks like anarchy to them. Okay, so if you want to look, these are the words, and I'll cover it. So you might want to screenshot it so that we can cover it. So you can screenshot, and then we can screenshot, and then we can screenshot. Okay. So wholeness has the dove of peace on it, and healthy boundaries with stardust. We have warrior. That's warrior could just be like, and it has a flower. So it's a flower Hufflepuff warrior. All right, so I was talking about at the end of the beauty video, like there is no beauty here. because I'm not here to create Hufflepuffers. I could even feel Elijah in the astral plane going, "You're not allowed to create Hufflepuff wizards. It's Gryffindor or higher, please." So thanks for that. I can't pretend that I don't hear him. Man. All right, so there is no beauty here in Hufflepuff. Some of you guys might want to be Hufflepuffers, and I understand. But then you get caught up in the... There's nothing to get rid of the pride faster than taking responsibility. And that's in Gryffindor territory. Because, yes, this is a sales pitch for Gryffindor. Once you get into Gryffindor territory and you're in Gaebra, then it's like responsibility. Boundaries. Responsibility. Okay? Then there's no pride. Because you've graduated pride for something much better. And it's not just, there's no power without responsibility. So we just say responsibility, because that's the smarter It's the smarter option. I don't really want to create a bunch of wizards or witches that aren't responsible ever. That's why, like, my first dragon eggs that I ever birthed, I named the responsibility dragons. Period. So I'm hoping you guys are them. At the worst. You guys at the worst are the responsibility dragons that are here on the planet. And then there are higher realms. Misty Copeland will get a super 7. Period. So she keeps showing me that in the astral planes, and it's really cute. So the super 7 dragon that was birthed goes like straight to Misty. There are a number of them, by the way. And that has like huge strength genomes and like boom, like love, like, but like strength, like Korra style, but not fully, but like Korra style. All right. So, and then we have. All right, so I'm not allowed to create Hufflepuff witches or wizards. The alignment dragons, those go to Ravenclaw. Okay, so we've got those as well. When you name your dragons virtues, they will sit on the virtue of the tree. So even if it was a low magic and you named them a virtue, it's like I've given it to God. So like naming a wand reverence is like, yeah, that's smart. You see how reverence is low and responsibility is higher? Because responsibility will include reverence. So, Tiferet grid is weak. We need it on the whole planet. I know, I'm trying to grid up the whole planet. Yes. Yes, I know. This Tiferet grid is weak. Now, if everybody was like this and talked like this and thought like this, we'd probably be good. We could, like, live in communities. And, you know, pick up litter. Even after we were, like, left behind and other weird shit. So, the spiritual world. I'm going to go over it. In the future, I receive guidance. And then we have the Harry Potter glasses, so higher guidance. So that was kind of like some of the Simon Magus energy coming through. So yay. That was nice. Then we have connection to the higher worlds. So we take the ick and we connect it to the higher planes. I like to see it as a tulip on the moon, tithed to the moon. So whatever delusions that we, delusions and delusions of grandeur we have, that we still understand the higher guidance of it. And then we have spiritual groundedness. So I have connection in the future. I give spiritual groundedness. That's got the star on it. So it's, yeah, I give spiritual groundedness. So my biggest thing is to get people to not separate their spiritual life versus their physical life. Because they're not separate. So it's not like living two different realities. And in most people, that's the way they do it. I know because I did that. So that's kind of like the muggle thing. When you're really healed in Netzach, when you're healed through Netzach, it's the same. And then when in Tiferet, okay, it's a higher evolved the same. And then in Gebra, all right, because the separatedness, that's a Hode problem. So, like, again, like, you'll see the as above, so below mirrors. So when you start looking at the mirrors on the planet, you go, oh my God, I really need to clean up my thoughts. And you go, Hode. Clean it up. Oh my God, I really need to clean up myself. That I love the quote, you know, don't change others, change yourself. But the deeper responsibility is like send pray for thy enemy. Like, send the healing energy, send all the healing jelly to everybody. Like as much as possible, aid yourself. Don't pretend like it's kind of like I saw the insanity still on Babaji's thing, and like even if he's being nice to me and he's like an immortal master, like don't pretend that he didn't have that genome turned off. So we need to make sure that that genome's turned on, and then we send healing energy. So there's more sanity. Now on the passive side it was fine, but it was on the active side that was not fine. So it creates an imbalance. Because you have to do both. And so like the next year, the whole year for the Christmas magic is the angel wings. So it's the genomes being turned on and off that need to be turned on and off in everybody. So you need to already have a sense of discernment of like what's right and what's not. And like sanity is definitely should be on. Insanity off. So that was also, that came through the Hode grid, if you remember all the Christmas in July magic, to make sure that we were going to create a sense of peace and harmony using intuition and higher logic. Nothing is done until it's done in the physical. And I know that everybody wants to like believe that it's an escapism tactic to say it's done because you're afraid that you're going to have to put in 5,000 more hours of work. Because you're exhausted and you're lazy and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to ever fucking do it. I know, I've been there. So we need to make sure that things aren't done until there's literally no kid getting raped on the planet. Things aren't done if there are people freaking out about being an oppressed society. Things aren't done. The work is not done. It's only beginning. So this is where that empty your cup teaching comes in, and it's really nice because it's like we have to evolve. And the work becomes infinite and it never stops. Ever. 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 It's an immortal journey and ascent into the divine. So even if you're like, but even if you're like, but I can just die and I don't have to do my work. Well, that's the realm of hell that you're gonna hell or heaven that you're going to be stuck in when you die. So you're going to still have to do that work anyway, even in the astral planes, and you're still going to be reincarnated onto this planet or another planet from the space that you've done your work. So making sure you understand that this is an immortal thing and it's ever evolving. So like that's where the being the pacifist, but being an activist pacifist is actually really good. And then when we get into Gryffindor, it's even the higher martial artists they're all pacifists. They just have the ability to respond. And it's usually all self-defense. Remember Lucifer's statement, a good defense is way better than a good offense. A good defense and you will surely win. Right? Because great martial artists are not aggressive. They're usually like, I'm going to zen out. They don't pick fights. They'll end a fight if they need to, and they try to do their best, right? So that's ultimate Gaebara. So Gaebara is like life. So this is where I like Archangel Kamael in training. For me, like that's his energy. It's not warmongering. He is the archangel of war. But it's like, how do I make sure that I can do a domino drop, and then it heals everything, instead of creating a war for the planet. So it's and then it might create a war of the mind for like 5 seconds, and then everybody like learns their lesson, and then it dispels. So like those are the higher teachings and etc. Because it's much nicer to make everybody battle out their shit in the brain than with axes and swords. But when you become a magician, what you battle out in your brain manifests. And that needs to be said also. So learning how to battle it out in your brain in nice ways, in like divine ways, is what's more required. I go, Jesus goes, yes. So that's spiritual groundedness, okay? And this is why, like, for Seraphim, so my cup for Gaebara, so yeah, my cup for Gaebara, my cup for Tiferet is the giant marshmallow, right? It's the marshmallow teaching. But my cup for Gaebara is like a pomegranate chalice. So that my best defense is knowledge. That's the highest level of defense, is that I will have the knowledge of all of my enemies and myself. And then I know how to calculate and do everything the best way possible. How great of a teaching is that? And that's why it's Kabbalah 99, you know? Is that, and nobody understands, because you guys never watched the documentary on Johnny Appleseed, or maybe some of you have, where the lady was like, the apple is not the tree of knowledge, the pomegranate was. So that's the knowledge stuff. So, and that's why the high priestess sits in front of all the pomegranates on the Keter Tiferet connection, because she guards all the knowledge and guides it. Okay. So that's the ISIS template. Not ISIS the terrorist, but like ISIS the divine mother. All right, so now that's again, spiritual groundedness. You can use the ISIS terrorist component to like the tower card because the tower, the Hode crap needs to fall because it's built, it's lies. It's all delusion and lies, you know? It's all baloney. And like, so that's the destructive energy, but it's coming from the God realm. So it's the Isis component. All right. So now we receive in the now ether. We have in the now DNA growth. And then we give in the now DNA repair. So we're now DNA repairing everybody. That's an assignment for Tiferet. Is like, so you guys should not be throwing axes at anybody. You should only be throwing like hodes and netzachs and like cute little magics that is gonna repair people. DNA repair, DNA repair. Throw the whole tree of life at them. That might be a little bit much, but maybe it might not be. Like DNA, like grow their DNA up into the God form and grow their DNA down into connection with Mother Earth, right? Sometimes growing them up is going to connect them to the higher planes where everything's love and light. But then they look outside and they go, everything is not love and light. So sometimes that might create a disharmony, and then grounding them might create anger and rage. So like sometimes you have to do both, or sometimes you just go hodes, netzachs. I like to dragonade them in hodes and netzachs. And then you back to Yesod, independence, grapes. Heal that, heal, and then put it cream pie. Like, if you do healing jellies on people, man, that just feels good. And that's how you temper Lucifer. That's how you temper everybody. Is healing jellies on all of them. Where does it come from? It comes from source. Connection to God. You are probably an ET or have an ET soul type. So you are probably an ET in this human reptile body that has connection to higher jellies. So you need to, like, you know, you are probably gonna get the download because you've done the work. And if you haven't gotten the jelly downloads, you need to email me, and then maybe we set up a session and you pay me for my time. Or maybe you just send me an email and I send you a quick download. I don't know. Okay? We go, yes, you can jelly entire movements and make them go gracefully and in a healing way. And so like this is like the ant bully. You just imagine like a group of marching anyone, and you stick them in jelly instead of stomping on them. So you stick them in jelly and you go up on your way. The stomping on them is the Slytherin component. Because you usually don't stomp on them unless you're angry. It's a revenge thing. It's a revenge tactic. And at least in the healing jellies, you're like, even if it's revenge, at least it's fun revenge. And maybe it's just healing. Okay. So we go, in the past, I've received genius. In the future, no, in the past, I have integration. And then there's the little medicine canister. So it's like the integration's the medicine. So you guys' integration genome should be turned off in non-integration. I measure everything from the root chakra and below. So understand that. If I measure, then God definitely measures. And then God's probably measuring every air bubble inside the root chakra and below, looking for any kind of betrayal. Okay? So, like, understand God has high standards. And that's good. That's when it's God. Okay. So we go. I'll give you one more story because it's kind of cute. So I'm like a jump starter for a planet. So I worked at Hooters when I was 18, and I was so good that when they opened up the new store, they needed trainer people, but we weren't trainers. We were just jump starters. So we were the ones who got the store up and running. And so, like, it's the same thing. So, like, I'm a jump starter for a planet, like a starseed. Like, I was dropped onto a planet to jumpstart it into this new millennia. And boy, does it take some alpha consciousness to do that. Period. You know what it's like to sit with Star and go, how do I make this fun and digestible for 10 million children? Without having the python eyes attached to it. And then it's just like, so it was constantly me taking everything Star had to give me and like, how do I make it fun? Funner. How do I make it like more digestible for everybody? Just that. It was constantly like, take every piece of wisdom that woman had to offer me and like, yeah, jumpstart. Star's done so much work. Man. Okay. There's nothing like leaving dimensional mastery going, I didn't get to do really any magic. I'm feeling like shit. You're going, I'm going to have to be sacrificed to a muggle world and live, that fucking sucked. And then I go, how do I make a world where we don't have to do that? And here we are. Nobody wants to go back to their muggle world. Unless it's for a summer. Summer vacay. Summer vacay, and then we can, yeah. So I give mental and emotional. Receive higher intelligence. Thank God, because Tiferet definitely needs to receive higher intelligence. I keep getting these night schools where it's like Tiferet is the limelighter for God. Because and this is the other sacrificed God component, because it's like, now we're in Tiferet. We're like, it's us, but we're just angel. It's like, it's not God. It's like, so, and then it like Earth, like it's also it's It's also a limelighter for Mother Earth too. Because you're like, fuck, I'm just the stupid angel that was dropped down onto a planet, and planet just, what is the planet? Just Malkuth? No. So, Kater is like, like, needs to be the marshmallow goo inside of Tiferet. Because we're all gonna be just angels at the end of the day. If anybody read the Bible thing about Lucifer getting, I don't even know if that's true, but it was pretty funny. Like, Lucifer was kicked out of heaven while battling a wizard. Did you guys know that? So if there are witches and wizards in heaven, then we're on the right track. And all I see is like little Toothless with his fucking wand. Battling a wizard. It's that need this download needs to manifest, because you guys need to understand that this Harry Potter land is coming. It's coming. And it's going to be all the houses on top of the Garden of Eden. Until we can create something better. And then it's like Pandora level on top of the Garden of Eden. Like, well, we'll see. But there are layers. There are layers to what Netzach is going to become. Those Bible stories might actually have some relevance. Some of them. Some of them, you know? Like Lucifer being battled by a wizard. At the end of the day, God is just one giant marshmallow wizard. So yes, all this magic stuff is real. All right, so that's a higher intelligence download, okay? Then we go reverence. Then there's higher intelligence, like, and then this wizard gets Lucifer to go back into heaven. And then so the other higher intelligence is God likes Charlie more than Lucifer. Because Lucy's so tricky and like independent. Lucy just like backs out of the marshmallow stuff. Like, I just want to play. Okay. But Charlie will just follow God and go straight into the God form really, really easy. Like a dog. Like Charlie's like God loves Charlie. Just Dino Star is fine. She'll rub around in the marshmallow real easy. Reverence. Okay. The energy of reverence really needs to manifest on this planet for everybody. For me, for you guys, for the ducks outside. It needs to manifest for like Markle. I need to work on that. The royal family, like any reverence. Otherwise, it's just Slytherin. So you need to have reverence for everybody and everything. So everything on the other side of reverence will die. That's the Hufflepuff Tiferet thing, and that's why the death card sits in between Slytherin and Hufflepuff. So I'm feeling the mystery school getting that download. Yay! I'll still have reverence for the mystery school. I'll still have reverence for Teresa Ibis, who thinks that I'm a horrible Kabbalah teacher. And then I will, that was my night school last night. She'll take no responsibility for anything on her end, but she'll think I'm a horrible teacher on hers, so that's fine. There was nothing about sitting in her Tiferet class pointing the finger at us like, we haven't done any of our work. There was no beauty, no reverence. It was purely blame energy and no inner child. So I need her to understand that, because she has no inner child. Or her inner child's that cruel piece of shit that doesn't even understand play. Because that you need to have, and the Mayan lineage has a lot more of it. So reverence. Excellent. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you can't teach a Tiferet class about like, see, do you see how like that curse that they put out for like nobody's getting into Tiferet was just a reflection on themselves because they can't get into Tiferet? Don't worry, I am lavaing every single knife that they throw with Hode energy. I throw all the knives into the lava, and where they are melted, I throw everything Babaji ever sent me. I threw into the lava. It's just what I do. Reverence. That's why Drogon, dragon firing the throne, was actually exactly what Khaleesi would have really wanted. Like, dragon fire, this fucking throne of swords, my god. Beauty. See how Charlie and they're the same fucking dragon. Beauty. It's Drogon, but it's not Drogon. Because he'll still burn all the muggles if the muggles are throwing arrows at him. Self-defense. Yeah, no dragon slaying. Dragons are the keepers of wisdom, you guys. I have to get you guys to like, it's repressed stuff in the air. You have to know that people are in that space, okay? Beauty. You'll never tame the beast by throwing an arrow at the beast. You have to be a bell. So to work with the dragon magic, number one, you have to be aware that everybody wants to kill the dragons because they have power and intelligence and they're wisdom creatures and they're reptiles because the humans think that they're somehow divine. But they're not even in Tiferet, because in Tiferet, that's where you start to become divine. In Tiferet is where you begin divinity. That's why there's no racism allowed in Hufflepuff, okay? Because it begins divinity. You have to be friends and not backstabbers. And you have to do it through your root chakra. If you're not doing it through your root chakra, then you have shadow. And if you have shadow, man, then there's stuff. It was hard enough to get the root chakra into the solar plexus to even just become a Slytherin. It's harder than to go into Tiferet. Okay. You have to love the beast. Because otherwise you guys are just pieces of shit. You Gaston and all that pride. You hunt the beast down. That's all. You guys, they're all just going to end up. I'll eat, no matter how many jelly goober bubbles I send at you, you guys are all just going to end up killing yourselves. Tiferet. You see how even this just creates the reavers to like kill themselves? It's Tiferet. It's like all the angry people with pitchforks, like, I'll kill the beast! Like that. That's a reaver. The beast is usually just kind of gentle. Might have had pride, but man, he's learned his lesson. So I give beauty. Okay. If you're annoyed by my wand by now, sorry. I know doing it and watching it is not the same, so I understand. All right, clarity. I received clarity. You can also, just turn the video off by now or just listen to it. You see how, like, sometimes we get annoyed and we don't even take responsibility for the actions we could have done to prevent the annoyance. Man. I'll stop saying shit when I stop seeing signs everywhere. Because I'm not going to ignore issues that are happening on the planet. Clarity. I received clarity in the now. That's the clarity you guys are sending, that issues that need to be worked out and dealt with in the spiritual world and the emotional world with all the kids on the planet and all the healers and all the psychics, and people need to figure out how to deal with everything. Especially when they're dealing with laws of karma and paradoxes and everything else. Like, how do we deal with it? And we have to work it out in our brains and in our bodies. So, one of the most gross things I ever heard from the Maya lineage was a woman from Louisiana who has a lot of money. And it was about as Slytherin as you could get. And it was all those little kids in the sweatshops, they just deserve to be in the sweatshops because that's their karma. So it doesn't matter if you're like buying organic, free-range clothing, because all those kids in the sweatshops, they just deserve it. And then she wanted me to respect her at the same time, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. Saying that they just deserve it is the answer. That's cruel. Well, it wasn't like prayers of healing. Like, how do we get them out of the sweatshops? Like, how do we create more enlightenment for them? And this is that Western, Eastern, or the first world versus third world work. And that's going to have to take place on this planet, especially with Seraphim that are being trained. You guys are going to have to deal with all of this. How do you deal with it in the best way? And I don't want to do it in a PC way. I want to do it in an effective way. Because the effectiveness, that might be the good stuff, without cruelty. And that's where the Gryffindors come in. Because when you process all of the shit in your body through the root chakra, you start to see. You see. It's different to just think you're some kind of angel when you don't even process any of this stuff in your root chakra. That's the easy route. That's the stuff. You guys are all fucking liars. Escapism fucking asshole liars that make me do all the root chakra work. And you guys just escape on divine law terms. You guys don't even know divine law. And how do I know? Because none of you guys even have a wand. Really. Barely anybody has a wand that works. You understand? You guys don't know better than me. You have to be rooted. You have to be here on the planet, you know? Like, Star sent me an Earth Star thing. Like, I didn't know what Earth Star meant. Like, I didn't know there were 5 million levels of Earth Star. And, like, why is Star sending me that? Like, why does she not know that I'm really rooted? Because she's not really rooted. That's why. So that's the component in her that still hasn't done that work. She doesn't see that, like, I go into, not only do I go into Earth Star, I like go into layers of Earth Star, 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 and then start gritting the shit out of them to get the hell realms cleaned out. So this is what, like, you guys are all just fucking liars. Need hoed. And this is why we're just starting to like grid Malkuth on the planet to develop discernment, real discernment. Because even if you're getting in Hufflepuff now, we're still just in Malkuth. Because, you know, real Hufflepuff would look like spells and like, you know, good stuff. And that's where it's just more discernment. Going to be self-work constantly all day long. All right, so for the middle, Kabbalah 99, Tiferet, and the apple, that's your apple of wisdom. Wholeness. I give wholeness. I'm giving it now. Me telling you guys you need to be really rooted, and all of your thoughts, do you guys understand how much repressed racist shit that you guys have in your root chakra? It's unbelievable. And then through your feet, and it will come up. It's gonna. If you want to stay in your higher chakras all day long, that's fine. That seraphim can't do that. Seraphim are never allowed to do that. You guys have to like battle demons, dudes. That's seraphim. So you have to battle all the demons within yourself through every chakra. That's a Gryffindor. So wholeness. If you don't want to believe in the, like, why does the root chakra exist? You don't want to believe in the root chakra? That's a problem. You don't want to believe in the lower root chakras? Bigger problem. Ready to get your legs chopped off? You need to put the divinity in all your chakras. And process the shadow. My shadow's finally getting processed through. At least in some of the high... I still have a little more work to do. Man. All right. I received in the past my Hogwarts house. Don't pretend you don't have them. So if you're just Slytherin, then you're just Slytherin, you know? So might as well start praying for as much wisdom as you can, because that whatever dark shit that comes through, you better do it with wisdom. And that's okay. Higher wisdom, you know? You know, like Snape chose Slytherin. Snape Christed himself, you know? I'm Gryffindor. I have to do Ravenclaw. I have to do it. But at the end of the day, I'll be Gryffindor. Because that's the Archangel Kamiel thing. And that's, you know, that's what Hermione did. So even if I'm not there yet, because I'm not, I know my house. And that's where my main energy is going to come through. Sometimes you're really nice, and so you have to be Gryffindor. And sometimes you're like, right. But you guys are in Seraphim training, and you Slytherin assholes that stay Slytherins forever. You will be Seraphim Knight. Self-love. Tiferet. See, when you're stuck in Hode, none of this stuff feels like it matters. Because it just feels like, oh, I can just do it and think whatever I want to. All day long, like thinking, like none of it will manifest, or, you know. That's why you gotta get into like King Arthur level Hode. And then you can move forward. That's Archangel Michael, like giving you the bypass to, like, you are allowed to ascend. Like, Archangel Michael is about as, you know, vanilla. Archangel Michael is vanilla. King Arthur. My higher self's a fucking warrior. My lower self goes, I don't want to deal with all the race stuff. It's really scary. I don't know how to handle it. My higher self goes, I'll do it. Like a Jedi. It's awesome. Man, if I have to be if I have to have like a purple Jedi sword or like a blue Jedi, then I'll do that. Just you know. Just in case you guys can't handle the color red. So, you see, even that's just a form of racism. Can't handle red rays, like. Man. The root chakra is red. Does that make it evil? Gryffindor is red, you guys. Man. Color spectrums. Up the one. And then we got Bina, which is on top, and that's black. Like, color issues. So, and we got clarity. So Archangel Michael is as vanilla as they get for truth and like hero and love, big time. So we got clarity. And then that comes with the cherry bombs. Because we need fertility, chastity, and that's the Archangel Michael coming through. Because that was the grid for Hode, the cherries of truth. So we were trying to get the chastity and fidelity healing in Hode so that we could also get it really deep in Netzach. Okay. Now we have the physical world. We got a law. We have a Stargate. So we've got a Nexa. And it looks like the Nexa, the portal through the Nexa would be one, divine law, and, apple eating. So eating wisdom. And the sunflowers attached to my wand. So obedience. Now let's go in the future. I receive discipline. Now discipline could just be, being put in an apartment instead of a mansion. That could be a form of discipline. Okay, sometimes all those reptile people need to be put into mansions so that they learn to take responsibility. Because they need acts of heroism. They need to be told they need to be not forced into pedophilia. They need the lessons that the people give them when they become pedophiles. Like that. That's the they need to be put on those pedestals so they can be shot at by like people. Be like, you can't be a pedophile, dude. That's not royal. So they need those lessons, okay? Sometimes being poor is that's a for me being poor is a virtue. It gives you a balancing. Not that I got a gift of a pearl necklace, because I'm doing charity, so whatever. But you know how easy it would be for me to like not wear that pearl necklace and just give it to some homeless kid to sell it for $5 at the pawn shop, right? So it's the possessiveness. I give like I put $70 magic, into the ground just to make sure everyone gets their twin flame. Okay, so like back off on me, wearing something. I just throw it. It's like the materialism needs to stop. I feel like a healing on this planet. And within myself. That's better, Tiferet. So discipline. Healthy magic mutation. Healthy magic mutation. I have healthy magic mutation. Do you guys have healthy magic mutation? Or are you going to attack me because I say the materialism needs to stop? Wouldn't you prefer knowledge and, divinity instead of materialism? And there's materialism with discernment, like body. Like we don't mutilate the body. We don't abnegate our root chakra because that's materialistic. No. That's a spiritual lesson. But like an attachment to my sweatshirt or an attachment to my necklace or even your wand, That's why Harry broke the elder wand at the end of the fucking movie. Like no spirit, no material attachment. Now I'm gonna grid the planet with that lesson, and then everybody can get it. But that doesn't. It's not like abnegation towards like healing the planet and turning it into the Garden of Eden. You see how dark, like, fucking, you guys are fucking twisted. You see where that thought form could go easily into, like, oh, now I don't have to take responsibility for anything. And that's where Gryffindors need to happen. Healthy magic mutation. Flowing emotion. I give flowing emotion physically. So some guy with an amputated arm comes to me in the astral world and goes, so my amputation means nothing to you because it's just all materialism and it's just my karma. And it's that attitude that pisses me off because now he's attacking me. Okay? And like, I'm the asshole that's trying to bring about a Harry Potter world so that you can get your arm back. So it doesn't mean nothing to me, okay? I'm the asshole trying to bring about a planetary ascension so that like we can do miracle healings. So now I'm going to create a flowing emotion. And I'm trying to do it and prevent it with like disaster happening. So you just respect where you're at, and you do your work, and you have faith that somehow God is going to come through. And maybe you can write the Dalai Lama to help us build Hogwarts. No? Okay. It's too much for me sometimes. And then I go, connect to God, please. Obedience. Obedience is a virtue. Okay? If it's obedience like a child, being forced to like suck somebody's dick, that sucks. Okay? That's not the type of obedience I'm referring to. But I'm going to tell you one thing. That kind of action, those kind of pedophiles and rapists, that's about power. Sometimes the obedience dispels the jerk off that guy is getting. And then the kid can turn it in on the asshole and stab him, right? So, or bite his dick off, right? That. Believe me, God's not twisted. So, it's like the real obedience is like don't shove your dick in some kid's face to suck. That like that's divine obedience. That's the obedience that's like needed. So it's like give to charity, you know. Don't be a dick. Divine obedience. Okay, so I receive obedience. I receive obedience from you guys. I receive obedience from lower planes. Any of the crap stuck in the hell realms that needs to be worked out. Okay, so I receive that physically so that people aren't like, you know, hurting me while I'm trying to heal them. For free. Action working out. Action working out. I am action. I'm in action and I'm working out. Whether I'm working out in my body, I'm working out issues. I'm working out, okay? Hufflepuff. That's the baseline for Hufflepuff, dudes. It's not going to be one endless potcation. But if you guys still, even if you're like eating for emotional healing and all of that, you still need to work out some. You still need to do yoga, even if it's like 1 part yoga, 3 parts emotional healing. Okay. It's just, it's a potcation. And then what we give, healthy boundaries. So, that obedience doesn't come without healthy boundaries. So again, if you're like a kid, being forced to suck the cock of somebody, biting it might be the right? But I also know then that asshole can turn on you, right? Because they're fucking dicks. So it's weird shit, and I know it's survival. And I know that just fuels the need for revenge. But those guys will learn their lessons. But I'm trying to make them learn their lessons in like healthy ways. It's just endless. So this is where that drama triangle comes in. Because the persecutor becomes the victim. The persecutor becomes the victim. And like nobody gets healed. So you like literally have to balance out. And you go, and this is the Christ go. I'll just be the victim. And then I'll forgive. And I'll learn how to heal everything with justice. And I won't carry the chip on the shoulder about it. I just understand, and I'll be the victim, and then I'll not turn into the persecutor. And that's why the victim always has the Christ energy and the power. So it's this alpha. That's the alpha omega. So when I said all shadow is reconciled, it's because like I think in the astral planes, I got the biggest victim shit cleared. Universally. Hopefully. So we still need to clean out the Reaver stuff. But like be the biggest victim and then go, oh, I can be a Christ. And then I won't carry the anger of revenge on anybody. Because that just perpetuates the cycle. So that's the action working out component. You'd have to understand this if you're going to do Gryffindor work. It's like Captain America throwing himself on the bomb. It's that. So if you're not going to throw yourself on the fucking bomb, which is what I did with my hunger strike, dudes. If you're not going to throw yourself on the bomb, you don't belong in Seraphim. You can be in Ravenclaw. That's the real noble stuff. Because you understand the higher magics. You understand, like, the brave, that's real bravery. and still having the bravery to forgive afterwards. Okay. So balance, temperance, trust myself. So I receive in the past balance and temperance. The only angel that is ever going to be able to trick the devil is the balance of the angel of temperance. So you guys got to. That's also another path to get out of Slytherin. It's just it's how you do it. Trust myself. So that's another Nexa, and it comes straight through Yesod. Trust myself. So in the past, I trust myself. So in the past, you find the places in you that trust yourself. And then you go, warrior. I give in the past, warrior. I can do it if I have to do it. I can do it from an angel realm capacity because I'm an archangel in training. So that transcends the time spectrum. So if it's not coming from the earth planes yet, it's still coming from the higher planes. And that's good. This is why a schizophrenic has to do this. you have to have like had some angels and fairy dust and that kind of healing to do this work, because nobody on the planet is that healed yet. All right, so that's the master cube. That's our cube. Pretty nice for Tiferet. MLM complete. Color N out.